It's 2 a.m. You're replaying a conversation from 3 years ago, not even angry anymore, just trying to figure out why you said one sentence the way you did. Your friends call it overthinking. Your family tells you to relax. But here's something almost nobody tells you. That restless, exhausting mind of yours might actually be running on a higher processing speed than theirs. Today, we're looking at the surprising link between overthinking and intelligence, and why the trait that keeps you up at night might also be the reason you keep outperforming everyone around you. We're taught to treat overthinking like a glitch, something to fix or meditate away. But when researchers studied the brains of chronic overthinkers, they found something unexpected. The same wiring behind anxious rumination also shows up in people with unusually high verbal and analytical intelligence. That doesn't mean every overthinker is a genius, and it doesn't make overthinking feel good. It's exhausting. But understanding why your brain does this can change your entire relationship with it. Overthinking isn't just thinking a lot, it's a specific pattern. Your brain takes one piece of information and runs it through dozens of possible outcomes and interpretations before you've even finished hearing the sentence. Psychologists call part of this cognitive simulation, the brain's ability to mentally model situations that haven't happened yet. It's the same skill that lets a chess player think 6 moves ahead. The problem is, this simulation engine has no off switch. Someone says, "We need to talk," and your brain doesn't just hear 4 words. It generates an entire branching tree of possible conversations and worst case scenarios in seconds. That's not weakness. That's an unusually active simulation system, and it tends to be more active in people with higher cognitive ability. In the mid 2010s, researchers studying intelligence and anxiety found that people who scored higher, specifically on verbal intelligence, the ability to process and manipulate language and ideas, also reported significantly frequent worry. The theory? Verbal intelligence is the brain's capacity to generate and evaluate complex chains of thought using language, and worry is that same process turned inward. Overthinking and deep analytical thought may be powered by the same cognitive machinery. The dial isn't broken, it's just turned up. There's a reason just stop thinking about it never works on a genuine overthinker. Their brain has often been trained since childhood to scan for things other people miss. Many overthinkers grew up needing to read a room accurately, an unpredictable parent, a chaotic household, an environment where getting something wrong had real consequences. In situations like that, the brain doesn't just learn information, it learns to anticipate, to run the scenario before it happens just in case. That prediction skill doesn't switch off once the danger's gone. Combined with high analytical intelligence, it produces a mind that's brilliant at spotting patterns and hidden meaning, but exhausted from doing it constantly, even over a text message that took 4 minutes to get a reply. This is why overthinkers often become excellent writers, analysts, and strategists. They've trained a skill most people never had to develop, thinking several steps ahead. But here's the part that isn't inspiring. Left unmanaged, this trait stops being an advantage and becomes a trap. It can turn into analysis paralysis, where so many outcomes get simulated that no decision feels safe to make. It can turn into social exhaustion, replaying every interaction afterward. In its more severe form, it overlaps with generalized anxiety, where the brain stops looking for useful patterns and starts generating worst case scenarios on a loop, regardless of evidence. The goal isn't to glamorize overthinking as some genius trait to suffer through proudly. The goal is recognizing that the raw material, fast associative thinking, is valuable. It's the direction it's pointed in that decides whether it becomes a gift or a source of suffering. So, how do you keep the intelligence without the spiral? First, give the thinking a job. An analytical mind doesn't do well with vague worry, but it does do well with structured problems. Write down the actual scenario, the realistic likelihood, and one concrete next step. Second, separate analysis from rumination. Analysis asks, what can I learn here or do here? Rumination asks, why did this happen to me? On repeat with no action attached. Third, set a thinking window. Schedule 15 minutes to fully think through a problem, then close it. It gives the brain permission to stop searching, knowing the slot is reserved. Fourth, trust the pattern recognition you've already built. Overthinkers often gather enough information to decide quickly, then spend hours convincing themselves to trust it. Recognizing when you already know the answer is often the biggest unlock. If you've spent years being told your mind is too much, too analytical, too cautious, too in your head, it might be worth reconsidering what that trait actually is. It's not a flaw bolted onto an otherwise normal brain. It's a powerful prediction and pattern recognition system that simply hasn't been given clear direction yet. The smartest people in the room aren't always the ones who speak fastest or seem the most certain. Often, they're the quiet ones who already ran the scenario 5 times before anyone else finished asking the question. If this explained more about your own mind than you expected, you're probably an overthinker yourself. And that's not something to fix, it's something to direct.